Hey guys, today we're gonna talk about
If you should do team sport or not.
yes. That's I guess a question we just ask ourselves because he does team sport. I have done team sport for a long time, but I do not anymore.
How long did you do team sport?
Good question. Probably like
Eight, 8 to 10, right?
yeah, 8 to 10
Something.
years probably. Yeah, and well now since like 2.5 years, I'm not doing team sport anymore. Just for the people that maybe don't know us, what team sport do you do?
I play basketball. I'm already in my 14th season
Oh
right
yeah.
now. So yeah.
Yeah, I used to play basketball too, and now I do MMA, and it's yeah,
Not a team sport.
not at all. So now just tell me why you think you should do team sport and not a non-team sport or solo sport, however you call that.
Well, I think first of all, team sport has something very important for everybody to just learn how to work in a team,
Mm-hmm.
to set targets as a team, to reach the target after you did a kind of hard work over a couple of months, start of the season until the end,
Mm-hmm.
and so on. So that's for me one of the most important things which I needed in my job
Mm-hmm.
to work in a team, and of course during basketball. Yeah, that's one from my very biggest points.
That you
So
just reach, that you
the,
try to reach a goal as a team together, and you're gonna reach it together.
yeah, right. The together is the main part. You
Okay.
learn how to work. You learn how to lose, to win as a team,
Mm-hmm.
and you're never alone. So you work together.
Mm-hmm.
You lose together. You win together.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, winning is much better than losing. But if you lose, even you learn much more than winning.
Yeah,
So I think that's also similar to your opinion with the losing and winning part.
that's true.
But also, which is very important for me in a team, is you have everywhere teams. So it doesn't matter if it's in job, in sports
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. You have also a family at home, so you learn much more to focus on others and try to listen to everybody.
Yeah.
So, and that's, in my opinion, what comes a lot of times very short, that everybody is included in the work, in the
Mm-hmm.
main work. So that's for me why I just love to be around my team, to play with them, to go out and fight.
Yeah.
Well, not fighting like
Yeah,
you do.
yeah. I know
So,
what you
could
mean.
you explain why you switched from team sport to solo sport?
Yeah. Well, I guess for me, it's kind of like the exact opposite because I guess you have no excuses.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, in a team sport, every single time someone does something wrong, the other team will say, or the others in the team will say, "Hey, it's this guy's fault. That's why we lost." Or maybe some guy does like something very good in a game and like that was like a key point, and some people or maybe even the team says he won the game, but in my opinion the other guys play too, right? And especially in MMA, for people that don't know it, it's like it's a fighting sport. So basically, if you try, like, there's no way you can give the fault to someone else because who are you gonna give the fault to? Maybe the ref. Sometimes they're gonna be like, yeah, the ref stopped the fight too early,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe the doctor, but that's it. You know, there's barely any room for excuses, and also excuses. I mean, also excuses during practice. You know, I've had the experience in basketball. I guess I was pretty good in basketball, but there was always many people that were better than I was, and I always made it to pretty good teams. But I was never like one of the good guys in the teams or anything. So, there was also always in practice. You're like, well, or for me it was I. No matter how hard I practice, I won't make it anyways to be one of the good guys because they're already there. That was my mindset. Obviously, that's just mine. And in MMA, you know, you gotta go ahead and train as hard as you can because literally, the consequences are going to be you get beat up. You know, in basketball, if you don't train hard, well, the coach will bench you, or if it was my case, in my case, sorry, you get benched anyways. So, you know, there was no reason to practice harder, I guess, even though, especially at the start, I practiced very hard, in my opinion, and that's how I made it to the good teams, and I guess I'm pretty proud of it, but, you know, there was still like this lack of motivation just by the fact that I won't be able to do that much of an impact in the team because the people are already there. They already established their, you know, position in the team, you know, and it's already there. I can't take it. And in MMA, it's really, really just up to you. And in my opinion, that's very nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I think on that point, you could also, or well, not could, if you want to reach something, even in team sport, you can also fight for it. Doesn't matter if you want, just by the example of basketball, if you want to be a starter, of course, you can try to fight for that. But as you mentioned, it's true. If you come to teams on higher levels, of course, you're coming more that the team has different roles. So, for example, there might be one or two main scorers. They're just focusing on scoring, and others just on the defense and the, how do you call it, not the dirty work.
Yeah, doing the dirty work. Yeah.
So that was, for example, over the years always my role. But I accepted it, and I also started a lot of games during that time. But it's also for me very important that you learn to fight in a team, because there you learn how to focus on yourself while doing to focus to fight for your dream or for your target.
Yeah.
But you also have to see how it's working with the others.
That is true, but my thing is there's many people, in my opinion, that think, hey, the others are going to do it. I'm just not going to put that much effort in. You know, so that might be...
Yeah, but...
I even know some teammates, I won't name anyone, but where you had the feeling at least that they're thinking that way. So...
Yeah.
And that just won't happen in I guess in solo sports, or especially MMA. You just learn how to do things by yourself, and you don't need any help for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I could also imagine the people you are thinking of right now. But that's for me something very... I put that in a positive... I want to see that in a positive way, because that's exactly what a team is about, that you have your personal goals, but you still have to figure out how you do that as a group, as a team.
That is true, but if you have someone that just gives up, that's going to have an impact on the entire team, and the entire team is just going to be mad about it, and you're going to have a miserable
true, but then
time.
Also if you play team sports on a high level, I think that's very... Rare?
Yeah, no.
So, if you play there, I think everybody has the same goal to be one of the best teams in the end of the season. Of course, if you go to lower levels, I think it's much more complicated. But also there are a lot of guys who just want to play and don't have that... we want to win every game. We don't want to lose home games or anything.
It's the same with MMA. I mean, there's still people that just want to just have fun. I mean, that's kind of like what I'm doing. I'm not doing like fights or whatever professional stuff. Not at all. I'm just,
I think it's better for you, right?
I'm just there to have fun. And I guess on a professional level that's true. But most people won't be on the professional level.
Okay.
And also through, I think you are like, since I'm doing MMA, I've gained so much more confidence just because I realized, hey, I can accomplish stuff by myself. And especially since I wasn't like one of the best players in the team, it was more like every time I was doing basketball, I guess, it was more like, yeah, well, we managed it, but it wasn't me, it was the other guys, whatever. But
I think I know what you have in mind, what kind of season the year of JBBL.
Yeah, for example.
Yeah, but there you also, I think you didn't know how important it was also to have you on the team. Just as I mentioned before, for the dirty work during practice, that you were a positive person to be around, a funny guy. That was also very important. Well, maybe you didn't play that much, but that's, in my opinion, what the team is about. Of course, it also depends on the personal types of persons you have. During that time, you were perfectly made for that rule.
Yeah, I guess.
During that time, right now.
I guess for the team that's fun and everything, and probably that makes sense. Yes, but obviously as a player, it's not really your goal to be like that role. I guess for me it was even fun during this year. Like it's not I'm like I hated it.
Year.
Otherwise I wouldn't have done it. But I guess especially like once it keeps going and it just kept going. Once you're in that role, in my opinion, if you stay in the same club, which I did, just like you did, you're in this role just because you got in the hood, and there's no way, in my opinion, that you get out of it, or it's very, very hard. And in a solo sport, it's so much easier because it's really just about you. You put the hard work in, you perform well, and you're good. And if you put the hard work in a team sport, and you even perform good for you, for your level, you might even not getting recognized because there was some other player in the team that performed well too, and it's maybe much more common for him to perform well. So people will be like, oh yeah, he performed well, and then maybe, oh yeah, but Robin did good too. And that's basically all it is. And for example, I have a different example from someone I know. He played football, and he was like one of the defense guys, and he just gave me one example where he blocked like the guy that wanted to run over, that had the ball, like from his team, that wanted to run the guy over from his team that had the ball. I don't know the terms in football, sorry. But he protected him, and only because of him the guy could make the touchdown. But they were all like super happy for the guy, the touchdown, and they were like, yeah, he won the game and everything, and he didn't get any recognition just by his coach, by his defense coach, not even by his main coach. And I mean, in my opinion, that's a perfect example of this particular situation, And in my opinion, that's very, very frustrating, even though those people form the base of a team. Without those people, the team won't work. And, that's, I guess, the issue that I had with team sports and why I stopped,
Okay. Yeah, I think when you mention that, it also depends what you personally think, because for me, I don't mind if nobody of the coaches mention me before the full team. I know what.
No, it's not even about.
No, I'm just saying. Team, yeah. I'm just saying because for me, I never were the fastest one or the one who could jump the highest or whatever, the scorer or whatever. So I just did my part of playing defense, hustlers, bringing the team together, talk a lot. But for me, it was never a problem. So what I like the most, if even I wanted to win all the time, and of course we lost a couple of games or seasons where we didn't win a championship, but then it was always the best to have a team around you when you lose, when we lost, and when we were winning. So you enjoy it even more if I look back right now to just see how many people were around me and different kind of topics we were talking about, the pain, the sweat, the blood we put in the gym together. And that's, of course, it's always hard because you sometimes have someone who's not all about the team or is just looking for, hey, I just need to score because everybody just wants to talk to me then. That's, you always have that in team sport, of course. But I think also if you work with a team, you learn so much, of course, how it is to work together.
Yeah.
And of course, I don't know. there's nothing else. You learn how to work together, how you lose and win together.
Yeah.
I mentioned that, I think, in the beginning of the podcast. But that's just for me the point.
But I guess in MMA you have a team too. Obviously not while you fight, but you have a practicing team. Like obviously you always practice with the same people, not always, but most of the time you have like your people around you. And you, in my opinion, it's even crazier how you grind and sweat during practice, just because, just the fact that especially in martial arts, if you don't practice hard, you will get beat up. That's literally a fact. Like it will literally be painful if you don't practice right, you know. And getting through this whole stuff and laughing at practice, and you have in my opinion, even though I have really really good friends from basketball, obviously you too, and they're
Thanks for that.
yeah, you know, and I have better friends from basketball than from MMA. I think it's even a deeper connection with MMA, even though when it comes to performing, it's on you. And that's the nice part, the nice mix. But that's very specific for MMA. But I would assume it for stuff like, I don't know, tennis or golf to be the same way. You always have a team you practice with, and then once it comes to performing, you just go, and it's on you. You don't have anyone to blame when it goes wrong. It's just you. You know, you have to put more work in, and you're hopefully gonna do it. And if you win, you know it's all on you, and you can be proud of yourself. And you necessarily, like, you don't really have this feeling like, well, I maybe only did this part and the rest my teammate did, or even other people telling you like, well, you didn't really do anything, you know. That's like, I guess, my issue with that, or like not even an issue, but that's why I would say at the moment that
I think it ought to change over over the last 2 seasons. Your opinions? I mean, we experience more or less the same from playing time, the practice where we didn't have a lot of guys together and so on. But I think it's also right now just that you found something new where you, as you mentioned, you know exactly when you do mistakes because someone punches you in your face or whatever.
Yeah.
Of course, I think the guys who know me, they know that I'm not the kind of person.
Yeah.
So it's very... I think it also depends what kind of person you are, definitely. And for me, it would be always a team. I never could do a solo sport, however, because it's just not... Yeah, I think I wouldn't have fun on it.
Yeah,
well, fun, of course, yeah. Sometimes it's maybe nice to play a round of tennis or whatever. But in the end, standing on the court with your team is something totally different for me. Because of course, I'm playing since 14 years basketball, so I was growing up with it. It's just something I can't put, to be honest, in words. Not because my English is too bad for that.
But just because the feeling is so...
It's just a feeling which is so nice to go with your friends, with your family, with your brothers on the court and fight for what you want. And I think it always depends how coaches were handling you when you did that. And I think we have also different experience on that from a couple of coaches, which is of course normal. As a coach, you can't handle everybody the same, which I also experienced.
But I have to say, I don't really see an issue in the coaches, I have to say, because I mean, I look at it as
a challenge.
Not a challenge. No, I'm saying I look at it as if I put myself in the situation of the coach, I wouldn't have put myself in a leading position or anything because there was just people that were better. That's a fact for me.
But then maybe the league was not the best for you if you were not happy with this situation.
But the thing is, I wouldn't have been happy playing in the lower league. You know what I mean?
Because of the persons.
Because of the team for once, the biggest factor obviously, and then I have to just say it's an ego thing. You know, if you can't make it in the first team, you want to play in the first team.
Yeah,
For
true.
the Americans, it's like varsity team. You want to play in varsity and in the second team. You know,
Yeah,
obviously.
agree.
So that's just a fact for me. And then just the fact that you once, as I already said, you get put in this one position and you're gonna stay there. You probably won't get out of it, or it's very very hard, much harder than if it's just basically on you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think both of us can come to the position where we agree on each argument.
Yeah, that's true, but
I think for me it will never change, as I mentioned. So I understand you and your points, definitely, but I would never stand there and fight with someone. Not just about the fight, but to stand there alone. For me, it's alone, to be honest.
But for me, it's like it's not alone, and that's the thing that boosts, in my opinion, that's the thing that boosts your confidence. You have your, I've never had a real fight. I just do sparring and shit. But obviously, for people that fight, you see it all the time. They get in with their whole team. They have their whole family with them, their friends, their coach, and all their teammates. They go in with them to the fight, and then just shortly before they get into the ring or octagon, they're going to be like, yeah, you got this and that. Then you go in, and it's kind of like you make your friends proud, whatever, and you fight for that alone. And that, in my opinion, is a big confidence boost for once, because, as I said, you do it alone. There's no one that helped you. That's no one that gets you through. And that's obviously my personal opinion. I think I would be much more proud doing, like, winning, I guess, a fight than a basketball game.
Okay.
Because as I just said, you know, you do it alone, and you got through there alone, and no one helped you. Obviously in preparation, but not while you do it.
Okay. Yeah. I'm the different kind of person. I would be so proud to win with the full team. So with the 12 players who are allowed to play and the coaching staff, of course. And exactly in that moment when you fall, when you're on the ground, on the floor, and somebody helps you up, I think...
Wouldn't you say it's more important that you're able to get up alone?
Yeah, of course.
That you don't need someone else
to
help you up.
When we're just talking about
get you fired back again, and if you fucking in basketball, I don't know, you back 20 points. In MMA, you just got knocked down and you get up by yourself, and you know you get your own motivation up. In my opinion, that's such more grind and such more to be proud of at the end. I get what you're saying with like that's like a bonding situation, and you're like, yeah, yo bros, we got this, and then you go over and do it. I mean, I was always that kind of person to like say stuff like this and even feel it, and I still do, I guess, but I would say, especially at the moment, I would appreciate this getting through it alone much more.
Okay, yeah, I can't be to be friends with that.
Yeah. You can't agree, yeah.
Yeah, because for me it's just as I mentioned before, I'm just saying it again. For me, it's all about the team, and for me, it's the best situation if you come to the ground and you have your back up immediately, someone getting you up again. Of course, if you just go to the mentally stuff, it's you needed help to stand up, but on the other side, you know immediately that you're never alone on the court. So if shit happens, you don't have to blame yourself. If you failed the last shot of the game, you, of course, it's
in my
always...
opinion, that's obviously a nice thing, but that you don't have to like blame yourself. It's a nice thing, but not the best thing for you.
It always depends, because in the job, if you work in a team, you always have the same situation that you can do your best, but even if you do the best, but the team isn't working around you, you have a problem.
Exactly, and that's the thing. And I think if you have someone that knows how to work by himself, will be able to do his job more than correctly, and while he does that, he helps the team out.
But when he's just focused on himself, it will not work in the team.
But why do you work so hard? Because you want to help the team, obviously.
Yeah, if you want to work. There are a lot of people that I even know, or even working within a team, they're just so focused on themselves that they forgot the team around. And I think that's I think it's good to find a way of both
That is
sides.
true. Yeah, and especially in the workspace, I guess.
Yeah, I
You
think
have
in
to
work
find
it's
a good
definitely
middle.
different than
Yeah.
in
That
sport.
is true.
But that's for me a hard point where you come as a team when you are the manager. You have a group of guys, maybe 2 or 3 of a group of 7, 8, working very hard to accomplishment.
To accomplish something.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And 1 or 2 are just working for themselves, looking on their numbers, and I think then it's very hard to come to a point together, because
Yeah, that
then
is
it's
true.
not
But then
working out.
it just depends on the type of goal you set yourself during work. You know, in my opinion, it can be a thing to be like, yeah, I want to perform the best as a company. Then you're gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna do the best I can
Yeah.
to in this job, and that's gonna be good for my company. But if you're gonna say I'm gonna do the best for myself, then you're gonna probably do the best you can, but you will ignore your
The others around you.
Yeah, that is true. That's bad. But I guess you can. I guess being able to do like the solo things helps you a lot with that too, though. Being able to get your stuff done for the others, but that's a mix. So I guess in that
I
kind
think
of stuff,
in the end it's still the mix,
yeah.
right? Because you need both. Doesn't matter if it's in school or well, in school you don't need a team at all.
Yeah.
You just need a.
It depends on the job you have. If
Yeah.
you own a company, in my opinion, obviously you somewhat need to be able to work in a team. But especially at the start, in my opinion, it really depends on you. What you
Yeah, definitely at the start, of course.
and
You have
then
to
you
go
kind of-
find coming to the team.
At the end, it's a mix. And
Yeah.
I guess with that, we can end it since we're already at 27 minutes, as I can see. Yeah.
This time you're alright with the time?
Yes, I hope so. But yeah. So you guys follow us on Instagram at talk about bottom line art, bottom line L, bottom line. And
That's true.
if you're listening on YouTube, like, comment your guys' opinion, and obviously put a subscription in, and do the same thing if you're listening on Spotify.
Definitely. Just let us know your opinion. Do you do team sport? And if you do team sport, just why? And the same with solo sport or whatever.
Exactly.
Just let us know.
Exactly. Goodbye.
Bye.